I need cash flow and I'm young.
I get it. I mean, you raised for a boutique hotel, you split it amongst the investors. Yes, you get some equity. It's a lot of work. Or could you stack a property that make net to you $1,000 to $5,000 a month?
That one is going to be all in 700,000. We're going to be able to appraise at like the 1 million to 1.1 million. We're probably going to clear like 3-4 mil this year on the top line. That's like top line. So that's like what the house is making. But that's not what we make.
If someone is struggling in a market, what's the advice that you'd give them?
Oh man.
Let's start. All right. Well, Patryk, welcome so much. I finally got you on the show, man.
I'm glad to be here, man. It's been a while. I've been waiting for like over a year. So I'm happy to be here.
I was waiting for you to get new shoes. That's what it was.
That's what it was. Exactly.
So if you want to know what's up with the shoes, I'll leave that bit at the very end of this episode. Well, we met because of short-term rentals. You were big into Smokies and Josh Tree at the time. And what has the expansion been? Like, walk me through what the portfolio is and kind of just the journey from a macro perspective.
Yeah. So currently I have 50 total under co-hosting and ownership. And they're all short-term rentals, non-midterm rentals. They're all luxury and Airbnbs in the Joshua Tree area. And I've scaled really quickly through property management company acquisitions. And so that's kind of my portfolio today. On top of that, I do a lot of things in the community, as Josh, you and I have met through that. STR Nation being one of them. We do a conference every year, meetups every month, and just trucking along and just keep educating people and keep building my PM company is like the big focus right now.
That's something that I've been thinking about lately is in order to be successful and make it worth it in short-term rentals, you kind of have to go all in. You went all in. I haven't gone all in on short-term rentals. And I
Yeah.
can definitely see how as you stack doors on STRs, especially in one market, so good for you, it makes it way easier because we did the
Oh
total
man.
opposite.
Oh man. Like I think the benefits of managing and also owning. I own 5 right now. The benefit is the ones I own get the benefit of getting the whole ecosystem that we've built there. So imagine this as an investor, right? Anytime that anything happens in the market, we know about it. Like if there's a deal that's off market that hits the market, we knew about it before it hit the market. So we have our eyes on everything or most things. Obviously, things slip through the cracks, but we get a lot of things sent to us because we have a large presence in the area, and there's a lot of benefits to doubling down in one area and just being able to have people send you leads, which is great. So all the real agent relationships can help benefit us from all avenues of either buying the rentals or managing the rentals or doing construction for the rentals and making money or doing agent work for the rentals and making money. So we have so many avenues to make money in one market. And because we focus, it's our efforts of connecting with people in that one market have amplified results. So for example, anytime that a lead comes on and like we know we have the data, we have 50 data points on what works and what doesn't. So if we get a lead, we take a look at it and we can decide, let's take it down. We have the full construction crews in town. We have all of the vendors that we need. We have area managers to go check on it. We have, once it's fully done, we have all the connections in the city to deal with it. We have all the connections to our architect and all of that. And then we put it under a management company, and our management company takes care of the rest. So it's like it's just less work every time we stack an additional one on top. So it just makes sense to keep buying in this area. So that's what we've done.
So that's the property management company. Obviously, it didn't start there. Where did the real estate start?
Yeah, so I bought my first property in the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee, and that's kind of how we met. And that one was my first one I've ever done. It was during COVID time period. I bought it with all the money I had in my bank account. At the time, I was struggling with even keeping a job. So I remember getting fired from 3 jobs in 1 year, and I was just it was I think that might be a world record. I would check that. Guinness World Record. 3 jobs in 1 year. I was a horrible employee, to say the least, and I questioned everything. I just never felt like I fit in. I never understood, how to really, I was a leader. So when you put me in a position to not lead and me asking questions and me trying to build solutions, like, that was frowned upon. It was more like, "Hey, shut up and do your job." And I think coming from that kind of world, especially where I've been building companies since I was 14 years old. So I built my first tech company at 14. I built some other companies that raised venture capital, got on TV, did all these different things. And when I got into the real world where it's not entrepreneurial and it's very like structured corporate, I didn't flourish at all. And I thought there was something wrong with me. But all in all, I'm glad that I took that jump to buy that first rental. Eventually found a job that wanted to keep me for a little bit, and took that leap to buy that short term rental with the W-2 income. And I left the job 4 months later. So once again, horrible employee. I wouldn't hire me as an employee, and I don't think there's any way of going back because I've talk shit about corporates so much now. Like, I don't think they'll ever people will find this stuff and they'll never hire me. So I'm screwed. But I actually kind of like having my back against the wall because this is what I love to do. This is what I feel like, even if I made $0, like, this is what success is to me. And I think success is not even having remotely what I had before. I rather flip burgers at McDonald's to make ends meet than work for somebody else and be in that like confined environment. Um, but anyways, did my first rental, 10% down, vacation home loan, and in the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. I live in LA, so that was pretty far, and I put it down under contract, and all in, it was like $40,000. So that was everything I had, and that property appreciated from 306 thousand to $465,000. So I was able to pull out, and I sold it. And people actually thought it was crazy that I sold it, but the reason I sold it was I wanted to double down on Joshua Tree. That's why I sold it. At the time, I was also buying in Joshua Tree, but that's my first purchase.
How long did you own it for before you sold it?
A year and a half.
Okay. So you bought it for 3-ish, sold it at 465. So I mean, obviously a decent spread there.
Yeah.
And then why Joshua Tree?
So the reason I went into Joshua Tree was it was a market that was a little closer to me. At the time, I met my business partner, Josh, which, he was flipping houses. He flipped over 100 houses at the time. And I had one Airbnb, and he wanted to get into Airbnb or short-term rentals for that matter. And I wanted to just build and grow, and I just didn't have capital, but he had capital. So we decided to do a mix of flipping and holding short-term rentals, which is a BRRRR, but we call it a BRRRR+STR. So you take this ugly home, you make it all beautiful, and then you turn it into a nice Airbnb. And you pull out your cash. So
How
that's
many of those BRRRRs have you done now?
We've done 5 or 6, five, I think 5 or 6. Yeah.
Can you break down one of the examples of a deal real fast? How much you bought it for, put in, what it refied for, and then kind of what
Yeah.
the debt is on the back
Let's
end?
do let's do the recent one because that one is fresh on my mind. So the most recent one we did was it was this 1 bedroom on 5 acres.
Okay.
We bought it for 334,000. It's in
Okay.
a really great area of Yucca Valley, which is right adjacent to Joshua Tree. And it's got like even small little boulders on the property, but you couldn't really tell about how big the land is and how many boulders through the pictures. But we saw it in person, and We were like, this is a great deal. This is a steal. Snagged it for 334, multiple offer situation, which was rare. This was earlier this year, or last year. So like middle of 2023, we bought it. And we took the 1 bedroom, we turned into a short-term rental. And so we renovated the whole thing. We put $100,000 into it. It was 720 square feet. We put 100,000, including furniture, building out, like just making it look nice inside. And then the outdoor, like we built this deck that like was inside of the boulders. And there's like, even like if there's like a boulder sticking out, and we like cut around it. Like it's really cool. It's a really cool deck, and it's multiple layers. And we have an outdoor shower there. We have a pool, like a little cowboy pool, a hot tub, and like just beautiful views. And that property crushes it.
Wait, hold
Normal.
on. Let me
What's
pause you
up?
there.
Yeah.
Give me the listing. We're gonna put the listing up. I want to see what the listing looks like. We'll share it on the screen.
Yeah.
Either text it to me, or there's a private chat in here too.
Yeah. I just sent it over to you.
How do you
So
have that so fast?
because I remember all of my custom links. Yeah, I'm a nerd. But I make all my listing yeah, but anyways.
Yeah, you have them on like a text replacement.
No, I remember them and I just write them out. So that's the one. And it's a really cute place. We doubled down on the two people experience, and we said it's a romantic getaway for couples. And people might be saying, well, that's limiting, and you're limiting the amount of people that can go there. But really honing in on your audience is really important. So that's the deck. That is the inside. We hired a really good designer.
Dude.
Outdoor shower. The patio doors, like it's just cute. There's like little, like it's just very romantic. But guess what? You want to know something funny, Josh? The inside is considered grandma chic. That's grandma chic inside. So it's like older style, but like it works. So
You know what's interesting? This is not like the typical Joshua Tree design either.
It's not. It's not. And so like, but here's where it is like the Joshua Tree design, where our designer is incredible. She basically found that it has a lot of natural elements inside. So that's where you get that Joshua Tree vibe, is like the greens and the nature and the browns, and yeah. But yeah, I mean, she did a really good job. So this property, we got the appraisal back
Yeah.
at 560,000. So we're all in at 440. And we just got the appraisal at 560.
Wow.
So that's the cool thing. Now, the long-term play, as you can see over there, we actually own the plot of land outside of that. It's 5 acres. So what we're doing is we're actually subdividing that plot of land, and we're building a 2-bedroom new build on the other two. Yeah, as you can see over there, to the left, that we all own all that. So that's Boulder land. And so we're going to build, we already have like all the construction documents. We're breaking ground soon on a new build. That's going to be a 2-bedroom. That one is going to be all in 700,000. And we're going to be able to pull, like, appraise at like the 1 million to 1.1 million. So a really luxury new build. So this property will pay for that, because this property right now makes, you see how there's the boulder gets cut out over there? Yeah. But this is why, like, this one's going to sell, or this one's making right now is on track to make $100,000 a year.
I like
So
it.
if you know Joshua Tree as a 1-bedroom, that's incredible.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Normally,
what's your mortgage that you have on that now?
Oh boy, we were just looking at the new mortgage payment. I don't know what it is. I don't remember, but I think it was like, I don't want to say the wrong number, but it's a higher rate, of course. It's these rates, but and it's
But you got the house for free now.
What's up?
But you got the Airbnb for free now, basically.
Almost for free. I think we only have like 30,000 left in a deal or something like that, like 30, 40, 30.
Dude.
But even then, like we're making 100K on that. But then like even if I think it was like a 70% cash on cash or something like that. Something crazy. I have to look at the numbers again. But it's a good deal.
So
But this is an example of a burster where you
yeah.
can do something like that.
And then run me through your thought process now. I feel like more people are adding these lifestyle influencer
Oh yeah.
images. What are your thoughts on that? What's your approach now?
I think it's incredible. It gives a sense of how to utilize the space. I think that's really cool. People can visualize them and their dog. Like imagine there's one picture actually with the dog.
I saw
So
that.
it just kind of visualize like, oh, I can bring my dog on the deck. Like I would love that. Like Chloe would love to be on the deck and hang out with me. So it's like things like that. Just really kind of give people a visual of what it's going to be like. So that's what we've been doing, and lifestyle has been an incredible way to sell people into a property.
Are you paying for these influencers to take, or is it like a trade? How
Trade.
are you doing it?
We usually do trade. So that was she's actually an OnlyFans model, so uh it's kind of funny. But she's an incredible DJ as well. And she was DJing at Pappy's and Harriet's. So
Mhm.
I told her you can use our place if you could dig some photos, and she did some really good photos. So
Yeah.
happy with
They should do an awesome job.
it.
I mean, for the day job, it's influencer buys and stuff like that. So
Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff we do, and we know what works, what doesn't. And people are saying Joshua Tree is dead, and it's like, yeah, there's properties that make $2,000 a month. Ours make 10 grand. Honestly, we might even make more than 100,000 this year. Like, I don't even know. Like, we just cleared. I mean, we keep in mind we haven't missed one day since we launched. So it's been since middle of November to now, which is middle of January, 2 months. We've not missed one day, and for the next like 2 months, we're pretty booked. And we always fill those days. It's crazy, 100% occupancy.
I mean, I can see it too. I think as I'm gonna reshare the screen over here. As you're looking to like the bookings and things like that, I think
Mhm,
as people think about one bedrooms versus bigger properties,
mhm.
it's very easy for a couple on a whim to just say, "Cool, I want that spot."
Exactly.
Versus trying to plan a group of people together and everyone's scheduling, so it's a lot more planning out. But it's very
Agreed.
easy to fill those orphan days, right?
Agreed. 100%. So same way. So this is what we did. But now we buy management companies. So we transition to that. But this is a great way to invest and make money.
Well, as you sip now. Okay, so you're doing gorgeous luxury finishes. I want to know before we go into the management company,
Yeah.
you didn't your first one in Joshua Tree wasn't this beautiful
Mm-mm.
luxury. How is that one doing now? What have you changed since then? Have you sold that one? Do you still own it?
No, I still own that one. I've sold another one, but I still own that one. We are doing pretty good. We were doing really bad at a certain point, where it was probably like netting zero or losing a little bit of money. And we invested 40,000 to have like an incredible designer go inside of the property.
Show me that one.
I already know. I'm already like, um, we have like I just sent it. So we have somebody that went in there and just like incredible design, put it together, and that instantly allowed us to make more money and demand higher rates. So design is really important. Did I send the wrong one?
No, I just need pink disco. Here
Oh,
it
oh,
is.
oh, oh, it's Pink Disco House. My bad. So I guess I don't remember them all 100%. All right, try that link. But yeah, like I think this one we had a designer called Bridget come in, and she totally transformed the space and made it into a girls retreat. But at first it wasn't doing that well. Now it's doing pretty good. It's not as good as the last one we did, right? But you learn as you go. And um and we have some that did really well off the bat that we put a lot of work in, like that one. But Yeah, those are the whole shebang. So even if you have a low performing property, it's good to just reinvest money into it and change it up and get with the times. You can always do that.
No, this is your team did a great job on refreshing it. And so it went from maybe breaking even to losing a little bit. Are you making money on this one now?
Yeah, we're making money.
Dude.
Yeah, not crazy, but making money.
All right. So if someone is struggling in a market, what's the advice that you'd give them?
Oh man, this is like the age old question. Look at there's only three things that you could change to really make a property do better at the end of the day. And I tell this to owners all the time. Number one, and I do this all the time, like consulting sessions with owners. Number one is going to be pricing. Sometimes people are overpriced or underpriced or not priced correctly. That is a huge determinant. The second thing is marketing. Do you have good photos? Do you have a good listing? What does that look like? How are your statistics? Like, where are you ranked in the algorithm, right? Where are you on Airbnb? Are you page one? Are you page 10? Like that kind of stuff. And then the last one that people, you know, is just the product itself. Sometimes you just have a really bad product, and you just maybe have to improve the product. So
Yeah.
those are three ways. One thing you can't ever improve is location. So if you're in a bad location, that's something I can't help you with. But you can make the best decision based on the location, with what you have if you do it correctly. So
Well, I'm guessing it'd be the same as this one right here, right? Because this is you can clearly tell it's in the middle of a neighborhood
yeah, exactly, exactly.
versus this.
This is not in the middle of the neighborhood. So people want to get out and not be around other people.
Yeah.
So that's what people want.
Gotcha. Okay. So now you bought a few, you're tweaking a little bit. Why did you buy a property management company?
Yeah, let's yeah. I'm not trying to rush to get to that topic. I just love talking about that topic because it's like top of mind for me right now. But beautiful Airbnbs is I always will believe that owning real estate is the best way to wealth, and I still believe that 100%. One thing I will say is that the one thing missing with even buying Airbnbs, you're missing the cash flow perspective. I mean, even in this interest rate environment, you can put $100,000 into a property that cash flows you $1,000 a month, you know?
Mhm.
And that's great, but at the same time for me, I need more cash. I need cash coming in all day every day. When you put $100,000 for a management company, you can afford a management company that makes you a management company that makes net like like have that has multiple properties that make $1,000 a month for you. So you see what I mean? It's like, would you rather have 20 properties making you $1,000 a month, or would you rather have one Airbnb that makes you $1,000 a month? The one Airbnb that makes you $1,000 a month, you still own a real estate asset. You get tax depreciation, you get equity build up, all that kind of stuff. But having a business is also kind of the same thing where you
Mhm.
can actually have well, you can have depreciation. That's the one thing is a tax advantage of real estate, which is why I love it. But you do have the cash flow perspective, which is so important. And then like you can make, let's say, 20 grand a month, and then also get equity build up in your business. So like let's say that I bought a business that's worth $100,000, but I increase revenue by 50%. Now I just made the worth of the company $150,000. So, that's one thing, but there's other avenues you can add value. You can add operational value. You can add contract value, make better contracts so you can sell at a higher multiple. There's so many things you can do to a management company to increase the revenue and increase the value of that company, which is also kind of what you do in real estate, where you come in and buy a hotel or you buy whatever. And the way I like to look at this really is I could have either because I needed cash flow. That was the big
Mhm.
reason. And I could either go and get one co-host client and make certain amount of money. That's like getting one Airbnb.
Yeah.
Or you can go and get a hotel, right? You can get an Airbnb, individual Airbnb, or you can get a hotel where there's 20 units in one. Same deal with the co-host company or a management company. I could buy a whole management company, and it's like the extra step instead of just buying a co-host agreement or getting one co-host agreement and spending all that time and energy to get it. I can get a management company that has the agreements in place and is making cash flow. And it's like that next step, right? At scale, you can
Yeah.
afford managers, um, you can afford VAs, you can afford all these different things that eventually you take your existing properties that I had, which I had 6 at the time, and you can take those existing ones and you can put it right under the management company. And guess what? They get the benefits of. I went from day one when I bought the management company. I went from being the sole person that had to answer all the messages, had to do all the vendor coordination, had to do everything, to basically taking a management company that already had all that, and then now letting the management company take care of it. So that's the benefit that I see with the management company route.
So if I'm filling in the gaps here, you bought a couple, you sold some, you started to co-host in Joshua Tree before you bought the management company,
I
right?
wasn't co-hosting. I was looking for co-hosting agreements.
Okay.
I was looking to co-host, and somebody, it was by accident. Somebody came to me and a friend and told me that, hey, I don't have one co-host opportunity for you, but I have 14 or 15. Are you open to that? And I said, sure. And so I found out this couple was selling a management company, and they couldn't do it anymore, and they were looking for somebody to take on that that thing. And so
Can you
it
run me through that process?
huh?
Run me through that process. How much of the negotiation and kind of takeover can you talk about?
Yeah, we can talk about that. So, before we even go into all of that, I do want to say there's a right way to do it, and there's the way that I did it.
Okay.
Okay, there's a big difference because I learned a lot through this whole process
Mhm.
about how you should be valuing companies and how you shouldn't be valuing companies. But that happened because I went through this whole thing, and I've consulted people, I've done all that, but even then it was just, I didn't want this opportunity to be kind of let go. And
Yeah.
honestly, if I would have done it the structural way that I know now, I probably wouldn't have even bought the company. So, because I overpaid for it, guys. So I overpaid, and I got kind of screwed in some ways, not intentionally by the other owners, but just didn't do my due diligence. So it's negligence on my part. But I did the due diligence I thought I needed to do, but it wasn't enough, right? So this is the way we structured the deal. They had 15 properties, and we set a value for the whole company. The value was predicent on like it was kind of like 2 to 3x of net. But also there was like a management company included, a cleaning company included in house, and a maintenance department. So it was like, okay, well, with all these different revenues, let's just, like, we agreed on a price, and it was like 1x of gross revenue, pretty much, of the whole company. So that was kind of more or less what we agreed on. I kind of looked at it and I was like, okay, well, if I can make my money back in 2 to 3 years, like, I'm cool with that. Um, Turns out, when you buy a company like this, so 50% upfront, seller financed. The second 50% is on a seller holdback. So this is where you protect your butt. Where I thought I was so smart, I was like, "Oh, look, I'm protecting my butt," which it is. But seller holdback basically means that you're not paying the second payment. The second payment depends on the retention of the portfolio that they gave you.
Mm.
So if let's say if the revenue goes down for that portfolio, then they get less on the back end. You see what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
So that's the way we did it. And
So why do you think you overpaid for it?
what's up?
Why do you think you overpaid for it?
Because I didn't value it correctly. So
How would you
here's
value it now?
okay. Well, first of all, I didn't realize that a month to month contracts are worth less, because they are.
They're
And
all month to month.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
6-month agreement. It was like the friendliest agreement ever, which sucks for somebody that's buying a company and is actually not good. And so you're supposed to pay less for companies like that.
Hmm.
On top of that, we didn't do due diligence with like what would be different if we took over versus them. So, for example, we didn't do any ad backs where we said, okay, well, hey, the previous owner was doing accounting. And then another of the owners was doing all of the communication stuff, but we didn't know that. Like we kind of had an idea, but we didn't know how involved they were, like how deeply involved. And so we realized like they were literally on 24/7. So yeah, we had to do a little bit of a um we had to we didn't adjust for that, like, oh, we're gonna have to hire VAs for that, so that's gonna be more expensive. So like technically we're making our cash back less time than they are.
Hmm.
We have to pay for accounting. Another thing we didn't know that we didn't know is that, hey, like they also have in-house or sorry, they don't like the two managers. It was supposed to be manager run. The two managers, one of them left and stole clients. The other one got pregnant and decided she doesn't want to do this anymore. So that was, I don't know if that was bad luck, but that's just not good due diligence on our part.
Yeah.
Both of them were 1099, so they weren't even structured correctly to
Mm.
begin with. So they should have been on payroll, W-2, but they didn't do things like all the way 100% because they were a growing company, right?
Yeah.
So, um, and we should have made those ad backs to say, hey, listen, we can't pay full price because of these different criteria. Another thing, the maintenance department, go figure, the maintenance department is a felon, so we had to get rid of him. So it's like, what the heck's the point of this maintenance department? And just so many things that went south, like just including cleaning revenue, but not like we didn't consider that there's going to have to be like a full-time manager for the cleaning
Hmm.
department, and they left, so like we had to pay for that. Just so many different things that I wish I would have known. And there's so many other like nuances that we learned. Like even every client was thinking about leaving. So almost every client. So we had to save all of the clients. Uh, but at the same time, look, 16-hour days, it at the end of the day, it was still worth it because once I already had systems in place. They already had
Yeah.
a website done. They already had people in place like cleaners. They already had systems for the cleaners. They already had all this. So you're building on top of those systems as opposed to creating them from scratch. So for us, we were able to operate day one and make cash, which is the differentiator, which made it worth it because then we were just being able to like sign on clients left and right.
Hmm.
Like the reason I'm at 50 now from 15 to 50 is because, well, 15 plus the 6 that I own. Um, because we were able to just like start onboarding people. Like, hey, we already have um we have 20 properties. Like we're legit. And so it's easier to sell something than if you have one or two. So
Yeah.
we started selling people like left and right, and the system's already there. We're already churning things. We just have to perfect things, right? We just have to get the right people in place, perfect things. And that's exactly what we did. And now we're like very hands off. But at the time, it was a lot of work for Josh and I to take it on. And yeah, that's the buying of the management company.
So you bought it. We're able to. I mean, once you have that property management company, yes, like you said, the legitimacy of it helps a lot in terms of new client acquisitions. But do you see a cap now? Because I'm sure you don't want more clients to answer to, because that's necessarily not the best thing in the world to just have 100 mouths to always report to.
Mhm.
So what is the scale? Is there a cap? And what's the next plan?
There's no cap. Like the higher you go, you have to have systems in place, and that's what we're building now. But to be honest, the marginal amount of work for each client goes low and goes lower and lower the
Hmm.
more you get like leads. Like it's so like at this point, like we take on clients because we're like, you know what, at 30%, it's an okay house, but I know this is going to be a good client to work with. They're easy. We're okay with that. And so we just put them underneath. And the biggest thing is just making sure that we're vetting to make sure we have clients that we like to work with and are
Yeah.
good, are like same page as us. That's number one. And number two is that we have the team in house to be able to support that. And once you have those two things, I think everything else kind of falls into place. We hired a COO that literally all she does is just systems and operations. She doesn't touch anything day to day of the business. All she does is just talk to everybody and make sure that like she can build the right systems for the day to day to be like perfect. And that's exactly, and that's her role, and we pay her the big bucks to do it, and it's worth it. Every penny is worth it.
Yeah.
And she's been incredible. Um, and super instrumental to our business. And from there, like, she's an integrator through and through. And she doesn't want to talk to sales. She doesn't want to talk to other people and do sales. She doesn't want to talk to like do the finance stuff. All she wants to do is build systems. And I'm fine with that because I love sales. So, you find your right match, and she's doing that. And now we have two area managers. We have a really great handyman, really great cleaners. We have 20 cleaners in house. We have VAs. We have 7, or actually we're close to 9 VAs now, I think. So we're hiring quick, and we have a communication manager. We have in-house accounting. Like we just have such a great system where
Yeah.
adding somebody new is really not that hard. So like when another opportunity came about recently in December, to buy out another management company in the area, we just engulfed them into our systems like that. It was just like we bought it and then we just put them under
So you
everything that
bought a second company.
we bought a second one.
Did you take all the learnings from the first negotiation, move into the second one now?
Yeah, 100%. So the second one was great. That was a contract buyout. It was great. There's two types of buyouts. Either you do a contract buyout or you do a full like stock sale. So the
Mhm.
first one was a stock sale, right? Like I bought the company, like I bought like ownership of this company, which
Mhm.
also means you sign up for all the liability that comes with it. So like if clients are, let's say, I don't know, like somebody slipped and fouled during the previous owner's tenure, it falls on your liability. It can shut down your whole company. So it doesn't matter. So that's small things you have to keep in mind. It's like when you sign that dotted line, make sure to do the due diligence. But the second one was just buying contracts. So at that point, we're just like, all right, let's just take the contracts we want, and then
Mm.
we'll pay you for those contracts. So
But
those are
then
two
did those
different
owners
valuations.
that you signed have to re-sign with you then?
So it depends. Normally, how you're supposed to do it is you're supposed to have a contract that's assignable, because if you can have a signable contract, it actually holds more value.
Mm,
But if you don't, then yes, you have to get them to sign again to you, unless you buy the company.
gotcha.
So that's what we did. We just had them sign over to us, and most of them were, I mean, they're shutting down anyways.
Yeah.
So for them, they were like, okay, well, what's the next step? They talked to us. We got them in. We paid the owner. It's all good. He gave us the leads, leads slash he just introduced us to everybody. So it was a smooth transition. I think we got like 8 to 10 of them.
Okay.
So great properties. And now, I'm in escrow number 3. So I'm in my third management company that I'm buying right now. That one is NDAs, undisclosed location, to be determined. I'll let you guys know. That one I'm doing with more conventional financing, meaning it's government financing.
Mhm.
It's SBA loan, so
Mhm.
it's a small business association loan. And that one, it's interesting, but also really cool because you could put 10% down. So let's say the company's making 1 million a year, you could put 10% down. So that's or let's say the valuation is at 2 million. You put 10% down, that's 200,000, and then now you're making 1 million a year net. So that's if you buy it at 2x
Yeah.
multiple. But you know, yeah.
So you're quickly becoming a major player in Joshua Tree. On the PM side in Joshua Tree,
Yeah.
who are the top 3? Are you there yet?
Not quite there yet. Top 3.
I mean, you have to know everyone now in the area.
Field trip. I mean, we talk to them all the time. They're probably the best, if not. I mean, they're just the best from like a newbie, not newbie, but more newer company that came in and just crushing it. We get advice from them all the time. He's an M&A lawyer and
Mm,
super cool guy. Love all of them. They're super helpful, super nice. And they've been super helpful to our whole business, and I'm really appreciative of them. So they're definitely up there. They have an invisible house. They have some key homes. So they're probably in the top three. No, definitely in the top three, not even probably. That's one. They have a lot of new builds too. But the
yeah,
second one is Homestead Modern, has been there for years. Also incredible portfolio. Got a lot of properties, luxury properties, and that one is one of the top ones. And then also I would say probably Co-Host Company,
yeah,
also a top one. They have I think less properties, but pretty really solid, all luxury properties. So those are probably the three contenders. But even then, like there's a lot, and I can't say too much, but there's a lot of companies that are not doing as well, that we're pulling. That a lot of leads are coming out into the abyss, and we're fighting for those leads with the big guys. And I feel
yeah.
like we're like maybe like fifth, sixth in the
Okay.
markets. Like we're kind of like there, and we're present, and we're kind of picking up certain properties here and there, and we're beating out some of these big guys because keep in mind we're flexible. Like some of these big guys, like I don't know, like
Does
field
that?
trip, like, they might take 25 lowest, but they're
Yeah.
usually taking 30%. And so it's not going to be worth it for all owners. So like if an owner has a new build, we can get them in at 20%. They want to work with us. So thinning margins and adapting market functions, like sometimes we'll beat out the big players and things, and we talk about it. It's nothing personal. Honestly, if anything, like we're all super cool. Well, not all, but like we're all, we know of each other. Like we're chill. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. um but yeah, that's the whole atmosphere of
Hey,
Josh.
man. Well, congratulations. Getting from having the five to now negotiating your third property management company is huge. I
Yeah.
do want to move in to what I call my version of the lightning round, which is the last
Ooh.
call. And so these ones will go some quick hitters real fast. I want to know,
Yeah.
obviously, you're posting
Yeah.
on your Instagram stories, seven-figure Airbnb, right? Doing some of those payouts, but what does it actually mean for your team?
Yeah, good question. So when I post stuff, it posting stuff is posting stuff. Everyone's gonna post numbers. Um, I see some people post the top line revenue numbers. I'm like, all right, I can do that too. I can show a multi-million dollar business. Like for us, like we're probably gonna clear like 3-4 mil this year on the top line.
Hmm.
That's like top line. So that's like what the houses make, but that's not what we make. We make a
Hmm.
percentage of that. And then from there, that percentage that we make, uh, not all of that we get to keep, right? So we make a percentage of that, and then and we don't take a percentage of the cleaning, so we only take a percentage of the daily rate, so it's
Hmm.
even less. And so, but we still make good money on a top line, and then we'll net whatever we net. I mean, December was an incredible month where we netted, like it was awesome. Like last month we netted 33,000 like net, like in our pocket cash. And so
Yeah.
that was a really good month. And but at the same time, when we were in growth mode and we were just hiring and putting people on salary and not paying ourselves at all, like we were netting like I think in the summer it was like 2 grand or 3 grand. It's like, but that's not because of seasonality. That's we were scaling. We're at this point when we have the amount of properties that we have, of course we're going to make great money in December.
Yeah.
Um, but that's not always the case. January is going to be a good month too. We'll probably get in like 25,000 net or something like that. I don't know. I'm just kind of shooting, but it's going to be a very solid year.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
Well,
you know,
good. I'm proud of you, man.
it's
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 fun.
not
Yeah,
easy. And obviously,
Yeah.
social media only shows you the top line. So yes, there is a percentage
Mhm,
basis, and there's still
mhm,
staffing and all the expenses on top of that. But I
mhm.
seriously am. I'm very proud of you, man.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
All right, next question. You host your own conference. You go to all these masterminds. What's been your favorite interaction with anyone that you've met in any of these masterminds conferences? Give me one.
I think I have to give it this. This is my best interaction slash best. Well, okay. Can I give two?
Fine.
Okay. One has to be meeting Matt. Matt McCall Stillman. He's one of your clients. Um, one of my really good friends. He's like a brother to me. Shout out to Matt. And meeting him meant the world. I think that was like the first time that I was like, you know what, this like the conference, I was like, okay, I don't expect anything out of this, but I went in there and I just found somebody with the same energy as me, same love and passion, and like just very aligned. And it was just such a wonderful feeling, and we're good friends to this day. So that has to be like a very pleasant interaction I had. But from a tactical, like, wow, like I was amazed from the knowledge perspective. I met the my favorite interaction is going to STR Wealth Conference and bumping into this guy that casually mentioned has four or has 40 or some crazy number. I forgot what it was. Like I think like 40,000 rental or Airbnbs or something like that. And I was like, okay, that's there's only like 5 or 10 of you guys out there. So so I was kind of like thinking, and I was like, okay, and I started asking questions, but I was like, I mentioned, well, casually I mentioned, hey, yeah, at my last job we used to use Streamline, which is a PMS, the property management software. And I was like, it just sucked. It was just horrible. Because he asked me, do you know Streamline? I was like, yeah, like I used it in my last job. Like it sucked. Like it was just so hard to work with. Like we had to build it. And then he was like, yeah, I founded that company and I sold it. And I was like, ooh, I just, I just, I just destroyed him on like how bad this company was, and he was like, "Yeah, I freaking founded that company." But funny enough, also founded that company, then started Casago, Steve Schwab. Really, really great guy, man. I had one of the best interactions I've ever had with somebody at a conference. He taught me so much in that time, and he actually pulled me over and he was like, "Hey, I want to show you this book." And I was like, because normal question people ask is like, "How'd you get the 40,000?" And his answer was values. And I was like, "All right." And we started having a great conversation. He showed me his value book. It blew my mind. It actually changed the way that I do business today, and I hold by that. So that's probably my best interaction.
Dude, those are fun stories.
Yeah.
And it's also less than I think I've gotten burned once or twice too about saying something and before you know who the person is, and you're like, ah,
Like, damn, I shouldn't have said anything, man. Like, I thought you
rewind, rewind, rewind. I mean, it's all good fun. If someone, last question, if someone want to get started in Airbnb in 2024, what would you tell them?
I would say that you should get started with Airbnb in 2024 because,
No, how? How can they get
oh,
started? I
how?
want the how, not the
How?
why.
Oh man, that's a loaded question. I think you can DM me and I'll tell you like specific to your situation. But for me, with that, I think it just comes down to taking action. As you've heard, like I didn't know anything about management companies. I just took action. I didn't know much about Airbnbs or very little on how to manage something 2,000 miles away. I took action, and I don't regret those decisions. I've definitely learned, and I've had, even when I made mistakes, I've always just redesigned properties or did whatever. Like the inaction is what's costing you more than the action itself.
I agree. I always like to say that you have to earn the problem that you're going to solve. You
Yes,
can't think about the 10 problems ahead because you're not even there yet. So what's that first problem? In this case, it's where do you start, pick your market, etc., financing.
right.
But love it, man. Where can people find you?
Uh, I think I don't know if this shows up, but right here,
That will be on the screen. And
sunscreen.
also,
That's my Instagram, and you can find me on there. If you're interested in buying or selling management companies, I have a shameless plug. I have a Facebook group. If you want to look up buy and sell STR management companies, um, I'm there. We have a good amount of members, and we sometimes people post deals. So if you're interested in that, but happy to help anybody out. Like if you just DM me or message me, a lot of times it's very situated with your situation. So I guys just know what's going on, can help you out there.
I love it. And of course, I will make it easy. I'll link this all down in the show notes or description below. And
Yeah,
before I jump off with Patryk, I want to say to the audience, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below too. And of course, if you liked what you heard and you found value, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more conversations like this. And Patryk, man, thanks so much for sharing your story. I appreciate it.
of course. Thanks for having me, brother. Appreciate you.
See you soon, man. Boom. That's it.
Boom. Cut.